Kerry back with you today. So I've got a couple of kits here in front of me. One of them's a new one, two of them are older ones. There's a bit of an update with some older ones. We're going to talk about Rennie's new Little Bits kit, and then I'm going to show you a little project I like to create with these three kits. So first of all, Rennie's come out with a new Little Bits kit. These are a little bit bigger bits, if that makes any sense. And let me just skip through to these pages. So this is the full-size page, and you can see we've got some bigger little bits in this kit. And Rennie has also included a new colour in the Little Bits kits, which will of course match all the other kits. So there is a more specific yellow now. I'm not sure if these colours are going to show up that well on my screen. They look quite similar from what I can see, but this is more of a yellow based page, and this is more of the olive green, and it does stand out to me quite a bit differently in person. So hopefully that is showing up on the screen. So in the kits there are now 10 colours, so you get one full sheet in each colour, and Rennie has also included now the half sheets or the tutorial page, so you get a smaller version of the Little Bits, and she's done that for the first two Little Bits kits as well. Now if you have already purchased the Little Bits kits, there is an update available for them. If you've purchased it through our shop, the Shopify store, you would have received an email that tells you there's an update, and you can get that update. If you've purchased it through Etsy, Etsy does not allow us to update the files directly on Etsy. So if you would just send us an email, we will organise a link for you to be able to download the updates for the existing kits. And of course the new kit will already have the 10 colours plus the half sheets as well. So I'm just going to pop these over to the side and bring in some other bits to show you. Okay, so what I have here is one of the colours that I have cut out completely from the Little Bits kits 1, 2 and 3. Now because they come in like the full sheet that I showed you, and then the smaller sheet that gives you the smaller pieces, I have lots and lots of bits here, and you'll see that I have some, like this one here is from the larger sheet, and this is the same piece from the smaller sheet. So I've got a good variety of sizes, colours or tones, and shapes to pick from. And one thing I love to do when I want to be creative but I don't want to have to get everything out and make lots of things, is I will just get one sheet of the colours and cut them all out, and then I just layer them up and make bases, so that when I'm ready to do some other creating, I've got all these sort of clusters that I could use as it is. I could pop that on a pocket or just on a page and just use it as it is, or I can add to it. So here for example I have my layered cluster in the background. I've just popped it onto an old postcard, got a sticker under here, popped a little Tim Holtz man, some of my vintage tape, and then some contrasting labels just to give it a bit of variety. And it looks like it's a really detailed piece that's taken ages to make, but it's literally so quick to put these together. And when I'm creating these bases, I prefer just to use a stapler. I do it for two reasons. One, I find it really quick, and two, if I start layering up the pieces and decide, I didn't really want that piece there, I can undo the staple or unpick the staple and take the piece off, and I'm not trying to wrestle with glue and that sort of thing to get it off. So as you can see, I've got quite a few here that I've already prepared, and it's really addictive and really easy. Once you get in the flow of making them, they just multiply. They cut, bang, 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 and you've got heaps. So I've made lots of bigger ones here, and I'm just going to slide those up to the top. And I've got quite a lot of little pieces left in here. So I thought we'd make a couple of these together, and then I will show you how I put them together to make a more finished piece. So I've got a pair of scissors here in case I want to trim bits down. I've also got my tiny attacher. If you would prefer to use glue, you can use glue, or you could use double-sided tape if you prefer. And I usually start by just pulling out a bunch of pieces and setting them on my desk so I can sort of see what I've got. And then I basically start grabbing pieces. So let's have these. Now I want to cut this one in half. Might make it a bit more than half. And I literally just start by layering two pieces, sort of one on top of the other, and so they aren't level anywhere. If you find it easier, you just can add staples now, or I like to just sort of add a few bits and pieces. That way I'm not using so many staples, and I can get a better idea of what it's going to look like when it's finished. Alright, so I've got those three there, and I'm just going to pop a couple of staples in and decide if I want something else. So yep, I think I might add that bit there as well. Okay, and that will be enough. The other thing I like to do when I use staples is I've got a pair of these flat pliers, and I just give my staples a squish. It helps it to sit flatter on the page, and also if it hasn't stapled properly for some reason, it just flattens those down. And then that's another one to add to the pile. The other thing, when you just add a few staples, it gives you an opportunity to tuck other things in if you haven't stapled it too heavily. So there's another one, and there's no rhyme or reason into what shape or size you need to make them, and if they're too big for the project that you want to use them for, you can also still cut them down. So as you can see, they're pretty quick to put together, so I'll just pop these out of the way. So I sometimes like to just sit there, if I'm watching a movie or something, and just make a heap of these clusters to use in other projects. So here's some that I've created a while ago, and I just used some tickets on these ones, but I had made these green clusters, so you can see they've all got this sort of green background. And then you can just come in and add a few focal points on the top to create a finished item. So I've just picked out a couple of tags and a postcard here, but you could use anything for your background, book pages, scrapbook paper, plain paper, anything you like. So we'll work on these three. Now I'm actually going to tear the bottom off one of these tags, so we've got a smaller tag, and of course I'll keep that for something else. And then I'm just going to look at what I would like on my backgrounds, or what backgrounds I would like to layer my things onto. So that one is hanging off a little bit, but I can either cut it down or I can just leave it hanging off. It doesn't really matter. And let's have a look over here. And I layered this one on, and I feel like this is a bit too square, but I don't really have much real estate to work with, which is why I've rejected this one for this particular project. But what you can do is, if you really still wanted to use it and you just didn't like so much squareness on this side, you can just pick something from your pieces that you've already got cut. So I could perhaps come in with a teeny tiny stamp and some other kind of label. And then I don't have this straight edge along here anymore, but I'm just incorporating more of the same colour into the project. So now that I've built that, we'll just use that. So again, I could add staples to it, but I've got the glue here now, and I'm just going to pop it on with a bit of glue because I know that that's where I want them. I'm not going to be moving them or adding anything else. Okay, so I'm just going to add glue all over the back. Pop that down. And I'll do the same over here. Now before I pop this one down, I think I might add something green in the background. So I'll just find a sticker, something like this. I really should have auditioned it before I put the glue on, but too late, she cried. Okay, so that'll do. Just going to pop that on there. And again, if I'm unhappy with how things are looking, I can always add something else. So I might bring in my little box of tricks, and I think I want to add something here. And do I want to add anything else over here? No, I think I'll, will I, won't I? Just going to add this one little bit. Okay, so now I've got the basis of my backgrounds complete, and it's just a matter of picking out some focal points. I might pop some more greenery up here. Sometimes if the stickers are too hard to peel off and I'm going to be hiding it behind something, I will actually staple it on if I get sick of fighting with the plastic. Alright, so that'll do there. And then I'll just trim that off at the bottom. And I think I might add a little bit of washi tape on this one over here. Just switch these around so that it's not so glary. Okay, and for your focal point, you could use anything you like. Again, I've got some Tim Holtz people here, but you could use flowers, mushrooms, pretty much anything. So let's have a look and see what we think. So I might pop those two fellas there. Maybe we'll have one of these vintage image strips. But that covers up an awful lot of real estate. Okay, so I've got some of Rainy's people here that have all different coloured dresses and things on. So I think she looks quite cool on there. I might like her over here. And so after a whole lot of faffing around, I've picked out some focal images for my cards. I've picked this gentleman and this flower, this lady, and she may be a little bit small for that card, but I think if I layer it up with some additional labels, maybe. Alright, so after a bunch of faffing around, I've picked out some elements for my cards, and I'm going to glue these down, and then we'll add some labels, and that will be the end of... Alright, despite me taking forever to pick out some elements, this is actually a fast project, believe it or not. So as long as you don't take forever to pick pieces out like I just did, the project is actually super quick. So I'm just going to glue her there. And I want to add this flower on the edge as well. And glue this guy down. Now he's got a very straight line along the bottom because he's designed to sort of be on the edge of a page or something. So to disguise that, I'm going to add some leaves and this flower, and then it will just look like he's standing behind them. Then I'm just going to come in with my scissors and cut the tail off that leaf section. And then we've already got this one picked out for here, so I'll glue these guys down. I have a feeling chaos is about to occur. There's 4 cats out here, grumpy old man cat and 3 kittens that want to be his best friend, but he's a bit reluctant. Okay, so now I want to come in with some contrasting labels just to finish off. So again, I'm going for my little bits. So in this container I've got all sorts of little bits that I've started cutting down previously, and I love to just grab from these. So I think I might like some browns. Okay, so I've got lots of brownie bits here, and I'm just going to trim some down so that I can pick my contrasting labels. add a final touch, I'm just going to use some of my vintage tape. And then I might just see if I want to add any numbers anywhere. Quite like that one there. You can of course add as much or as little as you like to these. Okay, so these are our finished ones. This was the one I made earlier. And you could use them on pockets or pages or anywhere you like. They don't have to be on tags or postcards or whatever. But they do come together really quick once you've built these layers, and I think you sort of really get into the groove if you're just sitting there making the layers, and then they're ready to go whenever you want to use them for a colour coordinated project. So as you can see, I've got tons here left to make lots more. So there we go. Don't forget, if you have already purchased the Little Bits Kits 1 or 2, that there is an update available. If you have purchased from Etsy, you'll find our email address in the description box below. Feel free to email us and we'll help you get the updates. And if you're interested, there will be also a link in the description box below to Renee's Little Bits Kit 3, which has got the little bit bigger little bits. And I just love the way that all of them work so well together. So thank you so much for joining me today, and I'll see you again next time. Bye.